Yes, I suppose that's fine. Very good. And I trust that the defense has no objections. Nope, no objections here. Fantastic! Oh, but before I forget, I pledge to speak without fear and prejudice, etc., etc. Now, prosecutor, ask me about what I witnessed over the course of the evening. Oh, okay. Baron Rogue. On the night of the initial dinner went magnificently. When the photographer arrived, Monsieur Grenouille left to visit the garden. Dame Cateline followed behind him moments later. Seigneur Petrois, Monsieur Robignol, and myself were engaged in conversation, so we paid her no mind. After the photographer had left, my housemaid left to go find Monsieur Grenouille and Dame Cateline. That would be when I heard her cry for help. Thank you, Baron. I think we all know the story from there. I would like to cross-examine the witness. Oh no, I'm not ready for that. Do you doubt my integrity, garçon? I'm just here to uncover the truth, Baron. Very well then. Hit me with your best shot. I'm not even with the best shot. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination. By the way, I see that facepalm. I see it. It's a good facepalm. I love facepalms. Give me them facepalms. I love facepalm, boy. Caper. Baron Rogue, I would like to ask about the dinner you served that evening. Very well, ask away. I think the red herring is a literal red herring. Earlier today, we established that silverware was stolen from your residence prior to the banquet. Indeed, indeed. I am aware of whom the culprit is, but I have decided not to press charges. It is curious, then, that you decided to serve steak. It isn't what one would describe as finger food, after all. I don't know about that, Falcon. With the right attitude, all food can be finger food. That is absolutely true. There was nothing curious about it. Senor Petrois and Dame Cateline are vocal lovers of rare steak. I was merely suiting their needs. Besides, what other choice does the Baron have, Falcon? Serve vegetable broth like an uncommon peasant. Do be quiet, prosecutor. You sound ridiculous. So sorry, Baron. Do you have another question about the dinner? Man, nope. No, I don't. Let's choose a different topic. Baron Rogue, I have some questions about Monsieur Grenouille. God rest his soul. What was your relation to Monsieur Grenouille prior to his demise? We were business partners. Monsieur Grenouille, Seigneur Petrois de Miao, and myself all owned a third share in an up-and-coming railway company. Excuse the crassness of this question, but that means that you and Seigneur Petrois would now own half of the company each, correct? Oh, yeah. Correct. I suppose that's a slight glimmer of benefit that arose from this foul situation. But, Monsieur, you must understand that Monsieur Grenouille and I were friends as much as we were business associates. I mourn the man's passing. Of course. Yes, I do. I need to ask about this. And by that, I mean... I need to do the other one. Why did Monsieur Grenouille leave to visit the garden? I believe he wanted some fresh air. The steak did not sit well with him, I fear. Oh, I see. But that is quite coincidental timing, is it not? How so? Well, Monsieur Grenouille felt sick and left the room just after the photographer arrived, and just before the murder occurred. One might draw a link between the food and the sickness. Hold on, Falcon. Surely you aren't suggesting that a Monsieur Grenouille's food was poisoned in some way? Do I have evidence to back this up? I don't think so. Hold on. Huh. He looks so regal, I love it. Yeah, it seems you lack a bit of evidence. Yeah, I agree. But what if it was? No, hold on. If he were poisoned, why would he be stabbed and bleeding? No, there's nothing to indicate poisoning. I just found the timing somewhat puzzling. There's nothing puzzling about it. Monsieur Grenouille always had a soft stomach. It's really no surprise that he couldn't keep down a good rare steak. Nope. No more questions for him. The garden. Let's look at this. Baron, we saw the murder scene, your garden, for ourselves. What's with all the horses? Both great questions. If I may ask, what is with all the equine paraphernalia? I beg your pardon? There are all these horse and cherub statues in your garden. To be frank, we found the whole thing a little weird. Could the defense please... I'm sorry. Could the defense please stop horsing around? This can't possibly have any relevance to this case. Yeah, I don't think it does have any evidence. Other than there was that one horse statue that had a goofy face, but... Nay, it doesn't. Nay, Your Honor. Doesn't. But hey, you can't berate a man for trying. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yes. When was the last time you visited it? Baron Roguet. When was the last time you ventured into your own garden? As it happens, I have quite serious allergies. I haven't been in my own garden for years. Years, you say? Indeed. Baron, I don't wish to call you a liar, but that claim doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Oh? And why is that? Because we have hard evidence that you have visited the garden recently. Balderdash! My word is gold! Show the god this so-called hard evidence that I've been in my garden. Spoosh! This was found in your garden. To be specific, it was found inside the fountain basin. Right beside where the murder occurred. A cigar butt? That could belong to anybody. And prosecutor, please shut your mouth. I can speak for myself. Okay, sorry, Baron. That is indeed the remnants of one of my cigars, but I must apologize, Monsieur Falcon, for I misunderstood your initial question. You see, prior to the banquet, I hadn't visited my own garden in years. But naturally, after hearing the housemaid's cry for help on the evening of the murder, I rushed outside. I was shocked and disgusted by what I saw. That must have been when I dropped my half-smoked cigar in the fountain basin. You see, Falcon, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I would find that believable if the cigar were casually discarded. But as it happened, the cigar butt was found in the fountain's upper basin, a location that could only be accessed with great inconvenience. And a little paddling. The cigar butt was not dropped. It was deliberately hidden. There are any number of possible explanations. Are there? Because I can only think of one. That is that you, Baron Roguet, deliberately hid your cigar butt to disguise your own illicit activities. Did I now? And what illicit activities would those be? You want me to spell it out? Fine. Let's put everything on the table. You, Baron Roguet, murdered Monsieur Grenouille. That is what you were trying to keep hidden. Directly accusing me of murder? How shamelessly brazen! That's a ludicrous accusation, Falcon. The Baron is an upstanding citizen of the highest order.
Yes, your allegation is baseless. You have no evidence, no means, no motive, no opportunity.
No evidence? Think harder, Monsieur Rabington. Every piece of evidence points to Baron Roguet as the prime suspect. You want the means? The Baron certainly had the means. His lion's claws are as sharp as a surgeon's blade. Gutting a frog's belly would be trivial to him. I know it didn't say frogs, but okay. Even Monsieur Robignol confessed just moments ago that he feared his claws. Ridiculous! I would never threaten a man with violence. You want a motive? The Baron had at least 10,000 francs worth of motive. By removing a business partner, the Baron's share of his railway company increased from 1/3 to 1/2. This is preposterous! And finally, the Baron had an opportunity. No, he crafted the perfect opportunity. He arranged a small banquet with a very select number of guests. He was aware of the missing silverware, and yet he served steak, a food item that necessitates good cutlery. Why? To bloody the hands of his guests, of course. Then he hired an easily influenced photographer and staged a very specific picture in order to build a perfect alibi for himself. Photographing... Sorry. We'll go with that. Photographing the guests in front of a handless clock to make for easy editing is quite an ingenious plan, it must be said. Prosecutor, you're just gonna let this slanderous yarn go uncontested? Say something, object! Oh, you're pitifully useless. After executing the murder, the Baron found himself still holding a single piece of incriminatory evidence, his finished cigar. He knew that leaving it at the crime scene would raise suspicion, but he didn't have time to properly dispose of it. So out of desperation, he threw it onto his fountain, out of the sight of his guests and any snooping police. I imagine the Baron was hoping to implicate Signor Patois de Miao, since that would ensure total control over his railway company. Alas, Dame Cataline was the first to happen upon the crime scene, so the Baron improvised. Humbug! This is an outrage! Judge, I demand that you disbar this ranting lunatic! No! There's only one outrage here. That is, that a man like yourself is able to abuse his wealth and status to frame an innocent girl for murder. You're a bourgeois of the worst kind. How dare you, garçon! The utter nerve for a lying scumbag of a lawyer to accuse a philanthropist like myself of something so heinous! I'm nothing like the fat cat bourgeois. I'm a respectable, hard-working capitalist. No, you're a ruthless man who would slaughter a dear friend just to reap a few francs. You incredulous whelp! I ought to gut you right here and now, like like a damned frog!